anything yet. What I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you to the best photo opportunity first. That's the place where you can have a much better idea about the size of the city. And that's the place where you can get the best photos. And if we go along on the top of the mountain, Greece color.
That's it.
Are you happy with my now to the best photo opportunity?
Oh, tiny.
Grow up by so but he's out of the
Well, yeah, you can see where it's wet. Yeah, this is the biggest in the world. And he said no one. These dogs are just basically good. He's got recaps. You're like, I got this. Let me show you where to go. Oh, it's all good.
Don't even want the shadow.
Oh, you don't want my shadow?
Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, oh my goodness, oh, look at him.
I was like, I'm very photogenic.
All those people who go to Turkey and come back with a dog like this.
Like the baby said, taking away from
Oh.
starting from you get 38 inches of So, yeah, please take your time, man. No rush. I'll wait for you here. When you look at these dogs, the majority of the dogs will have a tag on their ear. Did you see that? With the tag? The local government and the health department, they do this. When you see a tag, make sure they're all spayed and neutered. They're all fixed. And they have their shots, vaccines, so they don't spread any diseases, no rabies, nothing. They do the same thing with the cats, and they clip their ears. These are all straight. Nobody owns them.
Coco. Stay in here.
Look behind you before the group shows up. You see two statues. Excuse me. Those are the two statues of Hercules. This is the gate of Hercules.
Oh, those are Hercules right there.
Just walk through. Starting by the gate of Hercules. Look this way. starting by the Gate of Hercules, going all the way down, ending in front of the, you see that two-story building? That is the landmark of Ephesus. That's the famous library. So we got Gate of Hercules, we got this main street, and that's the Gate of Hercules. But most important, while we're here, I want you to take a look at the highway.
This is the gate. Gates, they make like if you look at the gates inside, you see the Heracles style. Thank you. So the Heracles is might be known as Hercules. So the Heracles was powerful figure in the Greek mythology, and he was the son of Zeus. So because of that, the parents didn't like him at all, because he was not from the Hera was the wife of Zeus. So Zeus lies to him all the time. And Hera comes to capture him all the time. So one of his lovers, Hera was born, and Hera didn't like him at all.
Current day location of powerful
So when he goes, just the first day born,
Okay.
he wants to Hera wants to eat
the river Meander is the longest river on the west coast of the country.
No, we already see it. Sorry. The gates?
No, this.
Yeah, makes sense. We can go forward, just I want to give this choice. By the way, before we give this choice, this is the Kuret streets. On the left and right side, this is the house of the Kurets. Kuret has own house, and they're rich people, for sure. And you see the houses of the Kuret, senators. And the construction of the main town is like a park.
So, my point is, for the past 400 years, nobody has been living here. The street we're walking on, these pillars and columns on both sides, these were all buried underground until early 60s. See the height of the debris. Archaeologists here have to uncover nearly 25 feet, 30 feet to reach the street level. So the street we're walking on now, which is original, 2,000 years old, which is Roman. But if you remember earlier, this is a Greco-Roman city. So we got the older Greek layers are still underground. So if you keep excavating this will go, which we're not, this section, this will go another 20 feet down below for the early layers. So this is what I was trying to tell you. This morning, we get to see 20% of Ephesus. We get to see Roman Ephesus. We get to see downtown Ephesus. We're in downtown. And these streets we're walking on. These streets we're walking on. We're waiting the crowd because the group
What makes you cold?
These are all original, man. These are all traction marks. Traction marks, yes.
Is that a two-story building buried before it's
Yes, it was all the whole thing was buried.
So the landslide did not knock down those
It did. I will tell you. I will tell you now. We have a group behind us, so I want you to see the site before that. Okay? So don't worry. I know all the questions that you might ask. I will answer those questions.
Yeah, no, I'm being careful.
So
1 foot, 2 foot.
these pillars and columns, everything was buried underground. Archaeologists, our teachers, our professors, in 1960s, they uncovered these street, and then they put the pieces back together.
Wow.
On your right, on the left.
They put the pieces back together to give us an idea.
And this street is known.
Coco, come stand here. Go stand there. Look at the cat. Cat.
On both sides used to be shops selling all the high-end, expensive items, merchandise like ivory, silk, leather, clothing, mats, carpets, jewelry would be sold in the shops.
The cat
on
just
both
walked by
sides
over
of
there
the
too.
wall. Come this way here. I was talking about original marble. Come this way. You see light blue, white or brown right there? You see? No? Let's get close. 2,000-year-old. Look where I'm stepping. This is 20-year-old red By the way, I'm going to this gentleman. Well, this is classic. I can tell you look like you're well-traveled people. This is classic. Wherever you go traveling in the world, regardless of every tour guide will have a cousin. The guy will tell you, I got a cousin, I'm going to take you to his shop, he's going to give you a good deal. That's what I'm referring to. He's not my cousin. We are not related whatsoever. But everybody is trying to make a living. We're good, these guys, they are at the cheap of 20 years. What do? They get a special permission from the museum in order to work in the archaeological sites as photographers. When we show up, they'll show up. So in bus number 1, we're going to have our own photographer. So we will have for one. Regular family pictures, husband, wife pictures, friends pictures. And you know the drill. Later, all these pictures, especially in front of the library, soon, being the landmark, all these pictures will be displayed on a metal board by the bus. Before you get on, they'll show you your pictures. If you like it, if not, it's your business. No strings attached. They're affordable. They're only $4 or €4. I told you euros and dollars are widely accepted. They're nice people. His name is Ali. Thank you, Ali. He'll be with us for a while. And then, obviously, these were all reconstructed. Look at this building on the right-hand side. This was a fountain, reconstructed in 1980s. It was dedicated to Roman Emperor.
Faz fera. Vamos lá.
First and posteriors, we work here, we still work, and
Yeah.
section.
I heard that one.
There.
Yeah, look at him up there.
Still not as many as we saw in Scotland.
First of all, if you look at my, you can see this
Wow.
and from this picture,
So I'm going to show you these beautiful Roman mosaics now. Very soon. On the left-hand side of the doorway. Roman mosaics here. They're all original. These are 2,000-year-old. Well preserved.
Coco.
Are you folks happy with my pace? Are you enjoying this so far?
Right here. Stand right here.
Don't forget to take a closer look at these beautiful Roman mosaics that are original on the left-hand side, on the immediate left.
And are those made of marble and
The red color, ma'am, red color is brick, but the rest blue and white marble.
What do these say? Can't do
Well,
anything
the
to you.
writings, these are the names of the families, elite Roman families, who sponsored the construction of the buildings. Okay? And it's going to be mostly Greek, because Ephesus, this is all Greek, and I bet it's all Greek to you.
Yep.
Ephesus was located in the Greek-speaking part of the Roman world.
Okay.
So although the rulers were Romans, people still spoke Greek. And this, like this one, more than 90% of the inscriptions would be Greek. I will show you some Latin inscriptions as well, but going to be mostly Greek inscriptions. So kind of like the naming opportunity today. Yes, ma'am.
What were in these alcoves?
These were all shops, but these were all jewelry shops. So let's gather here. I'm going to explain. Nice, the sun is hitting us, perfect. So 250,000 people lived in Ephesus during its golden age. And according to ancient historians' descriptions, almost 1/3 of the population of Ephesus were slaves. So slaves, peasants, farmers, common basically, they were all living outside the walls, outside the city walls. Only the rich, the elite Roman families, ruling class families, governors, rulers, or rich merchants, or high-ranking officers, high priests of the temples were living in downtown Ephesus. We're in downtown Ephesus. And these here used to be the homes of the elite Roman families. We got two sections. First section, jewelry shops. Seriously, how do we know? Well, these inscriptions, they'll tell us that these were shops. Plus, during the excavations, we discovered many objects, many gold, silver jewelry. And in every country in the world, almost every country in the world will have a certain precious stones or semi-precious stones. Like if you should happen to go to Colombia, they got emeralds, right? South Africa, diamonds. When you go to New Mexico, turquoise. Here in Turkey, our local stone would be sultanite. Okay, sultanite. It's known as the stone of the sultan. It's a color-changing stone. You can see them in the town. And so during the excavations, we discovered so much fine jewelry here, gold, silver, and sultanite jewelry. It's indigenous to Turkey. That's how we know that these were jewelry shops. The first floor used to be the jewelry shops. Above the shops used to be the homes of the elite Roman families. Archaeologists, my colleagues, they call these terrace houses. They're actually technically called terrace houses. But I personally do prefer calling these 1st century AD Roman condos. Condos. Once upon a time, all these condos, that's where we currently working, where the fiberglass roof is. These condos, once upon a time, they were all overlooking the bay, overlooking the water. And the ones at the top were much more expensive than the ones at the bottom. Location. And the approximate size of these condos, roughly 22 to 2,500 square feet.
Wow. Large.
And they all had hot and cold running water.
Wow.
Seriously, hot and cold running water. And what makes these houses today, where we're working, so important is beautiful wall paintings, beautiful floor mosaics like the ones you see here. Okay? Even more elaborate, more intricate ones. And I told you, common people were living outside the walls. Please look behind you all the way. You can see part of the city wall coming all the way down. That is all part of the fortification.
Wow.
The whole city back then was fortified. Okay? And you can see part of it. So common people were living outside the walls. This is only elite people. And actually, remember, we get to see 20% of the city once upon a time, 2,000 years ago. During its heyday, the city would cover nearly 48 square mile area.
Wow.
So 48 square mile area. We only get to see the tip of the iceberg, today. But even with this size, it's still bigger than Pompeii or Petra in Jordan.
How much of that area was inside of the walls? How much of the area was inside the
Very
walls?
little, very little. I would say, only eight square miles would be within the city wall.
The hot water come from thermal springs.
No, they had furnaces. Each condo
So
had
they
their furnace.
heated their own water.
Yes, they heated their own water using those pipes. Remember the pipes we've seen? I'll show you many more. It could retain, the brick could retain the heat, terracotta. So by the help of those pipes, they were distributing the hot water in the different rooms. Or even
That was a good
those
question. I was curious
pipes were
also.
going underground, kind of like a radiant heating. So they had central heating back then. Hard to believe,
The Romans
but
were
yes, they
incredible
were.
builders.
Romans were great engineers.
Yeah.
Ya, nasıl basılıyor diye. Temple, Emperor Henry, Roman Emperor Henry. First, take the pictures of the temple.
Oh boy.
When there is no one around. Then I'll tell you the whole story. Are you familiar with Middle East? You know the Middle East, right? No, with the snake hair, you're not supposed to look for it.
It's 2,000 years old.
I know.
I told you, the first
It's okay. Right.
comes from your other goddess or two now. She is the goddess of see that face? You see the whole building. This building was reconstructed in 1989. Actually, I handled the Bible they still often look at travelers' fears. So architects so while the restoring they put steel rebars in sports in the college. So the major sport building till today, this one is the library with resistance and 8 degree of the rig case. They are what do you call it? They're still so it no problem.
Yeah.
On its way to the library, I'll tell you certain importance about Christianity. Again, Paul, during the second missionary journey, Paul faced death. This was, among all the missionary journeys, this was St. Paul's by far the longest stay. There's no other cities. Paul's passes summer. The New Testament, the letters to the and this is the first church in the book of Revelation. In the book of Revelation, the city that lost its first love. Because when the church of Ephesus was first established by Paul, it was a very strong church and very strong Christian community. But in the first time, even the early Christians started compromising with pagan practices, like sanctified towards idols, committing sexual immorality, building orthodox imperial or pagan temples. So in the Revelation, Jesus Christ basically warning the people of Ephesus, Christians of Ephesus, to go back to the church love and not turn These processes are all much later in history. Paul was sold 8,000 years ago. John was sold 2,000 years ago. And these processes are about 1,500 years ago.
It's okay, it's okay. We stand behind you.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what I'm going to do. We have time, no rush. Before the crowd travels, my suggestion, I'll give you some free time here. Let's say 10 minutes, okay? Roughly. You can take your individual pictures here. If you are interested, you can ask Ali, our photographer, if you're interested, to take your picture if the library background. And then you can walk down that red being careful. There's a rail. You can take a closer look at the building. You can take some close-up pictures. Okay? Enjoy it. And then let's get it right.
The darker ones, I think, are brick and not marble. They might be less.
You want one? Hold on, I want you to stand here. Stand here. Stand right under the arch. You can actually go up in there. Yeah, we can go up through there. Oh my gosh. I think he wants you to pet him. He rolled over.
Ladies, together. Family. Okay.
You can take our picture.
Last family spot.
The stone and the brick on top. Yes, please. That's so interesting. I wonder if this entire wall was buried by that landslide when it came through. Do you want me to take your picture anywhere?
It was over 8 degrees on the scale. Devastated whole city and the library. All these pieces were all here underground. When the archaeologists came here in early 60s, there was a huge mound here. We have the pictures. There was a huge mound. Archaeologists uncovered, dug it all, and dug it out, and then uncovered all these pieces. And back in 1970, they decided to rebuild. Back in 1970, they started reconstruction work. It took them 8 years. In 1978, they recreated the whole building. They did an amazing job. But again, this is all reconstruction. Some pieces, majority of the pieces here are original. Some of them are new. You can tell. Take a look at this column here. Yeah, partly concrete. Marble is original. Likewise, this column. But take a look at the fourth column on the second floor from the left. That's completely
solid.
new. Okay? But other than that, it's mostly original here. After seeing the library, I hope you enjoyed it here. I hope you got good pictures. There is one more great photo opportunity. I'm going to show you. Follow me, please.
There's one who's got that right.
So much information, but we have an 8-month-old, and she was in fever, a lot of fever
Aw.
last night, so we didn't sleep at all. That's why they were big questions.
On the edge and the corners where it's cut off on the ground, there's 2 holes there. With that, the original was built with check. They just got on the corner.
Here, this is a good photo opportunity. I love this shot from here. You can go to the back, see the art, part of the building, and the beautiful cypress trees. You want to take a picture? Go ahead. Thank you so much for your cooperation, by the way. This is how we're avoiding the crowd. Taking the pictures. Remember, earlier I told you we walked on that main street. I referred it as the Rodeo Drive, right? 5th Avenue. A lot of high-end shopping. Here, where we are now, this was all major marketplace. Public shopping, in other words, like a mall. In fact, you never, let's stay here. You never noticed this like
That'll be warm.
This was the major marketplace, public shopping. First of all, they built, it's called the Agora. Greeks call this Agora, spelled as A-G-O-R-A. Romans call this Forum. Same, Forum Romana, like in Rome. Agora or Forum. They built the marketplace, which is where we are, very close to the port. See the buildings with the red roofs? Yep. Use your imagination. Right behind these, only 100 yards, 95 meters, used to be the port. We're going to take a closer look at the port very soon. So they built the marketplace right next to the port. Makes sense, in order to make the transportation of the merchandise a lot easier. With shops. See those arches? Each arch was a shop, stall. 20 of them on each side. Being a square in shape, there were total 80 shops.
Wow.
Shops, they all had roofs, but the rest here was completely open air. What kind of shops they had? Well, based on the early historians' descriptions, we know there were several shops, like being a seaport, very close to the port, where those buildings are, used to be a fish market, seafood market. There was a huge meat market. There was a market for the slaves. They were trading slaves back then, buying and selling slaves. At that far left corner used to be the market for the slaves. They had farmers markets, especially the major market, farmers markets were set up on twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, 2 days a week. They had farmers market, just like today. All the local farmers, local producers used to bring their fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, selling it here. They had a huge textile market in the center. We are literally following the footsteps of Paul. We know that Paul was here, because he lived in Ephesus 3 years. He was not only passing the word of God, he was at the same time trying to make a living. He didn't get tent makers. They used to make tents, sell tents. The textile market. They used to make tents. They used to make baskets, clothing, textile, and then meds. They used to sleep on the meds. Remember, I told you this is the biggest carpet region of Turkey today. It actually goes back to the days of St. Paul. During the days of St. Paul, people are still making carpets in this part of the country. And then what else? They were exporting a lot of olive oil, wine, and importing spices from the different parts of the ancient world here. So this was basically the place where the heart of the town was being, the most hectic part of the town. This was not only the place for shopping, it was at the same time the place for social gatherings, political speeches, elections, trials, courts, public meetings. They were all held in here in this section. We got the library. We got the agora. See those two cranes? The first green one. I'm going to take a photo so you'll see. Right behind it is the theater. The one I was mentioning earlier with 25,000 seaters. And this is the theater. Paul spoke to the Ephesians. Okay? It has an amazing acoustic. Let's take a closer look at the theater now. Different times, but they were all uncovered at the same time, so they, randomly, reconstructed some of those. This section, mostly granite.
Now, like this section that we're in right here, this is finished.
Yes,
Careful stepping up
this
on
is
that.
finished. Be careful, please. It's super slippery. Please be careful.
We all really appreciate your work, and we all really appreciate your work. Like,
Thank you. I'm happy when you're happy.
the new generation really appreciate all you guys do.
So what made you decide to be an archaeologist?
Oh, good question. Well, it's my dad. My dad, he was an elementary school teacher.
Okay.
He's retired now. And he loved history. So when I was a little kid, in the elementary school, secondary school, he used to take me to all these archaeological sites. So we were doing lots of field trips together. So that's how I ended up being I always loved it. So that's how I became an archaeologist.
My grandfather studied history through coin.
So I do collect coins as well. Yes. I do collect them as well. Yeah.
My father studied history.
These are the granite pieces. You can see those granite pieces. We still use granite in Turkey, like we use them back home in other countries. Granite today for kitchen countertops, marble decoration, bathrooms, hotel
Cute cat.
lobbies. That is much cheaper here in Turkey, by the way. Marble and granite is way cheaper in Turkey than it is in your countries. Please be careful. Keep it slippery. Well, this is actually, they say this is going to be the coldest time of the winter. This 1 week is the coldest for us. Normally we have mild winters. Actually, on the west coast of Turkey, where you are now, our typical winter would be mid-60s Fahrenheit.
How hot in the summer?
15, 16 degrees Celsius. Summertime, usually low 90s, 32 degrees Celsius. We have mild winters, but this week is an unusually cold week for us. You're from Wisconsin?
No, but Delaware.
Wisconsin. It was -9 by us.
Yes. Oh my God! Look at this.
That's the theater.
Wow.
Well, this is the coldest it gets. for us.
So then you don't get snow.
We never get snow.
Never snow.
Never. Please be careful. Take your time. Beautiful cat.
Cat saying, cat crossing.
I'm actually walking you now to the best photo opportunity for this theater, where you can capture the whole theater. But as we go, I will tell you the story. The theater you're seeing on the right-hand side partly, this is the biggest theater in the world. 25,000 seaters. And it has an amazing acoustic. This is the theater where Paul spoke to the Ephesians. And I'm going to tell you this now for today and for your future travels. A lot of people would wrongly call this an empty theater. It's not an empty theater. It's a theater. There's a difference between a theater and an empty theater. But how is singing wrong? That's an empty theater. Or if you By the way, the best photo opportunity for this theater would be where the pine trees are. That's where I'm walking. And you know what? For example, I see Elton John here.
Oh, wow.
Elton John, Jethro Tull, John Pavarotti. The first festival is in July. That's a classical music festival. Second one is in August. We have the annual opera and ballet festival. We still use this theater for those festivals. Beautiful. Really beautiful. If you could have people come back for this, a longer stay. July and August. That's the concert season.
And I'm curious, would Paul have used like a megaphone or something?
No, the acoustic was such amazing. Yes. Everybody could hear it. So, stand right in
You
the
go right in my picture.
Everybody could hear it.
Coco. Coco.
Unfortunately, I cannot take you to the theater today because as soon as the season ended this year in late September, so this is going to be a very busy
Duck down in the shadow. No. Turn around. Duck down in the shadow so I can see it clearly.
So they close it for reconstruction. So that's why we got the cranes.
So if you turn around, you can take the picture without the glare on your phone lens. Just have it in the shade when you take it.
So they are restoring
that.
the seats of the theater. So it's completely closed to the public today. They're going to reopen it in May.
Show me the one that you took. Oh,
except
nice.
for
Okay.
this winter. Normally you go in there. Yeah. Yes.
3, 2,
Yeah, you just have to keep the sun off the lens so you get a good picture. Yeah, no, perfect.
1912,
Very good.
the whole thing was covered.
A lot of digging.
Yeah.
save the sun.
You can see the whole theater from here. And when you are ready, I'm going to show you a few more highlights. And then we're almost finished with our walking tour so that everybody could see. Well, we've seen some main streets so far, including that Rodeo Drive and everything. Look at this one here. It goes all the way down with columns on both sides. The street you're looking at now, this was the longest, you can tell, the longest, widest, and the busiest street of Ephesus, Harbor Street. In order to make our walk relatively easier this morning, just like the other two groups, we started from the other gate, because it's a lot easier walking downhill. But again, 2,000 years ago, this was the main entrance to the city, because this is called the Harbor Street. See the buildings, 2 arches and more on the right? Those are port, harbor ruins. So the water used to be right here.
Wow.
So this is where the ships were embarking and disembarking. And the people were taking this road with a lot of shops again on both sides, going to the downtown city. There is also one more building way up on the top of the hill. You can barely see. That building, use your imagination again, 2,000 years ago, that building used to be a watchtower, like a lookout. But most importantly, on top of it was a lighthouse for the ships coming into the bay at nights. People often ask me the question, like you, ma'am, if this was a graveyard cemetery. It was not, because neither the Greeks nor the Romans would bury the bodies in the city. All the graveyard cemeteries were located outside the walls. But within the past 5 years, we found them recently in different parts of the city. We brought them here temporarily. The government, they're building a huge museum. It's going to be completed in 2 years. So all these sarcophagi, these are tombs, sarcophagi, and including that Nike statue we've seen at the site and some others, they are all going to be removed to that brand new museum. So they're being displayed here temporarily. This wasn't a graveyard. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the story of Ephesus. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your attention and for your cooperation. At the end of this beautiful walkway, where the Turkish flag